Now I'm going to show you some of the default packages that I have installed in Atom, and I'm going to show you basically what they do. So first thing, let's delete this test.html. That was just for a test. And okay, let's go here to settings. So I just want to also say right now, I probably should have said this in the last video, but your Atom also probably doesn't look like mine right now. I think Atom defaults to a dark theme and I'm using a light theme. It really doesn't make a difference except for appearance. Like, it's a cosmetic thing. It doesn't actually change your code. Atom still works the same way regardless of how it looks. So I'll show you how you can change theme. You can go to settings, and it's pretty simple actually. Just go to themes, and I think the default might be one dark, like this. It might be this, it might be something else. There's a few other ones here. Maybe it's Atom dark. No, I think it's this. No, I don't think it's this, because this top doesn't look right. Anyways, this is how you would change the theme. I'm going to go back to one light. Actually kind of like this too. Oh no, this is kind of weird. Anyways, you could pick whichever theme you like. Again, it doesn't really make a difference, so just pick whatever looks best for you. Okay, another thing is the line wrapping. So go to settings again, and I think this one will be in editor. So there's a lot of things here that you could change. Things like line height. I'm not going to mess around with anything like that. But down here, the soft wrap. So I'm not sure if this defaults. So it's default to false. It tells you what it defaults to. So this defaults to true, true, false, false. And I know these ones are, these ones I never change. But the soft wrap and soft wrap at preferred line length, I would enable those and then come down right here, the preferred line length. So it says your default is 80. So I put 158, and you might want to change yours depending on your screen size, because what this does is, actually, let's undo this. So this is what yours would be like. So with that, if we had like, let me just copy this a few times. So it's like the code is just extending on, and is there a little bar down here? It's really hard to see. But basically, a line of code just goes on forever, and it never actually wraps onto a new line. So that could be really annoying. So to fix that, you just enable these and come back here, and you can see all my code is now wrapped. So I'll never have a horizontal bar down here. And also, it keeps track of the line count. So even though this looks like it takes up 4 lines of code, it still is just on line 4, and these extra lines aren't actually numbers, these 3 dots here, because Atom still knows that this is supposed to be on 1 line of code, and it's only wrapping it to actually make it look better. Okay, and lastly, let's come here and create a, we still don't know what CSS is yet, but just make a file with the extension .css, and you can call it whatever you want. And if you look at the icons here, so this is this orange 5 icon is an HTML5 icon. Same thing with the 3 here. That's for CSS3. And if you make something like ts.ts, it'll be a TypeScript icon. And if you do something like css.sass, there'll be like a little sass logo there. So let me delete these. So Atom won't do that by default. It won't put icons on your file extensions or your files, but there's a package called Atom File Icons. So if you just search this, if you go to install here and search for Atom File Icons, you could just click the install button. You could see here that I already have it. So that's what's causing the icons to be there, just in case you're wondering. Okay, another package that I use is called, let's actually go back to settings, go back to packages. So it's kind of weird because there's packages and install. Packages is the packages that you already have installed, So if you search here, this search bar isn't searching for new packages. This search bar up here is searching for packages that you already have. If you want to install something that you don't have, you have to go to install. So that could be a little bit confusing. So here, the atom wrapping tag. So we'll use this quite a bit. It's a very useful thing to have. Basically what it does is that you could hold down Shift and Alt and press Q, or is it W? W, and it just basically creates a HTML tag, which you might not know what that is yet. That's fine. It's just really useful because here you could do anything that you wanted, like app post or something else like H1, anything, basically anything that you wanted. So it's just a really useful tool to have. Another one is the auto indent file. And what this will do is that, let's say you had something like this. So again, I'm just going to say this one more time. Don't worry if you don't understand what this is or this sort of structure. It's fine. I just want to show you what this package does. So there is so if you want to put code inside this H1, instead of going like this, if you want to put an A tag, you would actually want to indent it like this. And this would sort of indicate that code is inside something else. Because if you just had everything like this, you had different tag names here, and maybe this one was like down here, and maybe this one was up here, like this, it could be very confusing to see what was where. So, and actually one thing that we could do with this right now, to actually see the actual structure, to see what is inside what, we could use that package here called auto indent. You press Alt and F5 and it just auto indents the whole file for you, just like this. So you could see here that all of this is inside the H tag, and you could see that this is inside this G2 tag, which isn't even a real tag. It's just like a placeholder. But the real reason that I use this is because if you copy somebody else's code, or when we make an Express project or an Angular project later on, the default code that you get generated for you in your framework files will usually have 2 spacing tabs. And what that means is, so if I just go back here and go like this, so this is a 4 spacing tab. What that means is, whoops, what that means is that this right here, this one line, if I backspace once, it just goes back 4 spaces. And to make 4 spaces, you just press tab once. So you could do the same thing by just pressing the space bar 4 times, like that. That's a 4 space tab. A lot of people use a 2 space tab. So it would look like this. So when we get the framework files generated for us from Angular or Express later on, this is how things will look. And they'll have huge files all with 2 spaces instead of 4. So you'll be able to easily just go to Alt F5 and then just fix the entire file. And the last thing I want to show you, I'll show you very quickly, is the remember folds. So what remember folds does is if you come here and you close this, basically code that's inside of something could be closed. You could do this whether it's CSS, whether it's JavaScript, basically any type of code that has a nesting structure to it will be able to be closed. And what remember folds does is that if you close a file and reopen it, the fold will be remembered. This is super useful because if you have like a huge CSS file that's like 200 lines of code, you could have a lot of your code folded or closed, and that would make navigating your file really easy. But if you didn't have this remember folds, whenever you closed the file and reopened it, everything would just be open again, which could be really annoying to deal with. So this is very useful. Okay, that's going to be it for this one.